Ringing hero simps and virgins, and what are you doing?
Don't call them peasants.
And peasants.
No!
Welcome back to
Oh my god. Unbelievable levels of disrespect. How dare you?
Shut up, you ruined my intro. Welcome back to Krown's magical, very girthy, extra juicy Deputy Derp Cave.
The Derpity Derp Cave. All right, we got a new one, baby, and welcome back to the Krown Crypto channel. We got a few things to talk about today as Bitcoin did hit the short-term, right? I guess it wasn't necessarily a short-term time frame target, but the breakout target from the past couple days off of that break of like, what was it, 41 or so, 41 and some odd change up to 43,000 bucks. Then a pullback to come from there, and what you essentially expect next is going to be the topic of today, if you will. Little good old clickbait on the old YouTubes right there. Anyways, wishing everyone a happy and healthy and mostly a Safu Friday morning over here from a bright and sunny Helsinki, Finland. I got a weird amount of sleep last night, so I don't think I'm necessarily on top of my game today, which is why we had to move the stream time a little bit further back, because I had to get a little bit of extra coffee and some more sunlight. But with that in mind, I do want to welcome everyone in here. I see 600 people already in the house, 150 likes on the video, which is insane. Massive thank you for that. And I see our lovely moderation crew in here. What's up, African Crypto World? I see Nikki Page. Good morning to you. Rocky G, Michael, Mr. Philosophian. I recognize a lot of these names. Big Boy George, always a pleasure to see you, my friend. And who else do we got? Stephen Conway, Crypto Nahairs, Stefan, it is Stefan, and Ice Sniper, MGTOW by Logic. Man, I'm just scrolling through a lot of these same names. This is great, man. This is fucking great. And Rishab, what's up, man? Good morning to everyone. And the SEC is here. What the fuck? The SEC is indeed here. Love you as well, Mr. Jim Ross. You, yes, also, you were the first one actually here. But you know what? We'll just we'll just ignore that for right now, man. Echo Leaf, good morning to you, man. Sinegra, there he is. Can we get a NASDAQ update? Yeah, actually, in today's video, we're going to do a little bit of a focus actually on traditional markets, because I do think it's going to play, especially into the short-term time frame analysis. And then, as you have correctly identified, the higher-term and time frame analysis will come into play as well, of which, well, we got to soften the blow first, right? Anyways, what's up, Bill Altman? Good morning to you as well, sir. Crypto Degen, we are all crypto Degens indeed. Why merrily? Good morning to you as well. Hola, hola, hola. I speak a little bit of Spanish, being that I did grow up in San Francisco. You know, you kind of have to know a little bit to get around there. But I need to also finish some more of this caffeine over here. We actually finished the last of the original trilogy of Star Wars yesterday. It was really, really good. But Elsa she doesn't like the older films. She really liked the first three films though, which was rather interesting to me. She thought episode number 5, The Empire Strikes Back, was the worst one. I can never, no one has ever said that ever in the history of the world, but that's what she thinks. Insane. So definitely let her know in the chat section that she's wrong and there is an actual right answer, and that one is one of the best ones of all time. Oh man. Hello from the Garden City in the UAE. Hey, nice one. All right. I think we'll be going back to Dubai probably later this year. SF, I grew up in you grew up in the Tenderloin? Holy shit, people grow up there? Oh my god. That is like the most crazy portion of San Francisco. Dear Lord, man. Just proof she can't be trusted. That is exactly right, Reef Creepers. And she is wrong, Mr. CC. She's very much wrong. What's up, Romaine? There he is. We got a few updates coming into the Krown Trade application soon enough, which I'm really, 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 really excited about. Going to allow for all sorts of new activities, if you will. And Moon Raccoon, The Empire Strikes Back is amazing. If you watched it in the 80s, you know, if you really do look at like the you know, the scenes and everything, the CGI, or I guess how they kind of play everything out, it doesn't look all that good, man. Like they basically just move a screen behind, you know, the characters that are talking to kind of make it look like they're moving. It does not hold up too well. But we're gonna watch the newest trilogy starting next, and so she's probably gonna like that one, because you know they've got the girl character and it's all new and all sorts of cool stuff there. So don't spoil the surprise for her, except you can tell her that it is pretty goddamn awful, but she'll enjoy it, because it's more Disney, you know, it's more fucking Disney. Santa Cruz of San Francisco, man, I love Santa Cruz. It's just such a chill place. It's actually hilarious to me that the University of Santa Cruz, their mascot, you know, usually have like a mascot that's like a powerful wolf or a lion or like a bear, for example. No, what is the Santa Cruz University's mascot? The slugs, the fucking slugs. They're a bunch of slugs. Just kind of silly, man. Alrighty, just need to finish a little bit more of this and then we'll get right into the content. I do want to make this one nice and streamlined. What's up, Martin Hunt? Yeah, we'll get into Monero. I'm actually curious to see a lot of the altcoins today because it will kind of help round up my own analysis as Bitcoin is still, you know, on the higher term time frames. Like you can make a good case for both sides. Obviously, the downside does still hold a little bit more weight as of the current moment in time, but I'd really like to see some like impressive validations, which I do think that we could see as soon as probably not today, but early next week, if you will. Anyways, can wallet number 3 be a burner for wallet number 1 or 2? I don't know. I don't even know what you're referencing right there, man. But on-chain stuff, I actually really, to be quite honest with you, don't care about. It's interesting to look at. But the problem with it, or at least my issue with it, it's just a personal thing. You know, you might disagree with it. That's completely fine. But my personal issue with it is it always seems to kind of just confirm a bullish narrative, which hasn't been working out so well, to be quite fair. What's up, Stefan? Happy Friday to you as well, man. Is Netflix dead? Yeah, man. We'll get to that. I see that Elon actually increased his bid by about $3.5 billion. So that's gonna start to be like a pretty difficult offer to turn down. It's so interesting to kind of watch this story from afar. Like, obviously, I have no insider information with regards to that. I'm watching it alongside everyone else, but it would seem very interesting to me if they do turn that down, because now it's like that's an offer that you can't refuse, right? Folks were saying wallet number 3 was Sailor selling. It wasn't. I mean, that's also the problem with it. It's like you have to read minds, and I just don't think that it can be done. And also, you know, what makes you think that someone like Sailor also just keeps all of his Bitcoin in one hardware wallet? You know, like he's just keeping a fucking nano ledger in the drawer of his highly esteemed apartment, or I'm guessing he lives in a house, actually, probably not an apartment, but it's like, yeah, just casually holding billions worth of Bitcoin right here, no problem, just no one dip in the drawer. Seems kind of silly to me. Of course, if they're wise, which I'm sure that he is. I mean, based off of the sort of interviews that I've seen with him, it seems like he comes off as incredibly intelligent. He's probably taken some security precautions and split that up into all sorts of different things. So, you know, realistically, if you are a whale, like, think about it this way. Always put yourself in the shoes of whoever you're kind of judging. And when it comes to like whales and whale wallets, think about it this way. Would you, knowing that everyone else can see exactly what you're doing in your wallet, would you broadcast your moves to the whole worldwide without probably employing some form of psyops, knowing that there's going to be like a shit ton of on-chain analysts on the Twitter sphere that are going to immediately be like, oh man, they're accumulating again. It's like maybe, you know, who am I to say? But it would be, in my opinion, a little bit less likely, just to be fair. Anyways, hey, what's up, Jeff Handsome? Yeah, man, haven't made it to a live show in some time. All good, brother, all good. That's why we have the recordings for afterwards, and we'll actually get to the content in just a second here. I do apologize. Oh, it's the Klaus Schwab. The Klaus Schwab. Okay. That fucking guy, man. Oh dear Lord, here comes the tinfoil. Although, you know, I've actually watched a couple of videos of him. He's quite questionable himself. Like, he's really not doing himself any favors by the way that he dresses in kind of combating the narratives around him. It's like, I think he has to like it. He has to be aware. He obviously has to be aware. Like, I saw him wearing a fucking spaceman outfit, talking about the new world. Like, his book titles are literally A Conspiracy Theorist's Wet Dreams. I mean, I don't know what to make out of that, man. So I'm just not even going to comment on it. I'll let other more intelligent people kind of comment on that. I'll just stick to stupid price action over here, of which I can do a little bit of that, but maybe not even that all that well recently. All right, sweet. Watch out, y'all. Bitcoin is off exchange. Is that at record volume? Yeah, exactly. It's like, you don't think that they can just send it back to another one? And it's like, Jesus fucking, that one really drives me nuts. It's like, it's always been trending down. Hey, look at the fucking history. It's always been trending down. It's like, tell me what kind of an edge this has when it's literally doing the same thing every fucking time. And, well, we all know that price action doesn't always go up in a straight line, nor does it go down in a straight line as well. There's more nuance to it, of course. Alrighty, there we go. Stephen Conway says, I barely hold weight to anyone's TA. I mean, you shouldn't. You should always value your own opinion over analysis over anyone else's. You can look at other people like myself as a colleague. You might even think that like, oh, that's interesting. But as always, you should always value your own opinion on your own analysis over anyone else's. The reason why that is because naturally speaking, we're all going to have different sort of strategies based off of our different sort of unique preferences, which is based off of our own unique perspectives and personalities. So naturally speaking, you're going to have a different strategy. And if you're going to have a different strategy, is it wise to be listening to someone else who, you know, might also be right? They could very easily be right. In fact, we had a really good example yesterday in the Discord between Wally and I think it was Rum. And they basically had like opposite positions. One was long, one was short. They're using different time frames, different strategies. One was scalping, one was trend trading, and both of them were right. Both of them were fucking right. And it's just very interesting to me, you know, that people always want an analysis to fit in like to one small box. It can't be done. It can't be done. It doesn't need to be done as well. You know, so that is that is something that I always want to come back to. Like if you tune into content like this, if you're on this channel, you know, that's great. You know, I really appreciate that. But at the same time, I always want to be pushing it back on you. You can reference my opinion. It you know, it might even be interesting or valuable to yourself, of which you probably like the video. No, just kidding. Although, you know, it would be nice. But always, assuming that you have a strategy, that you have back tested, that you know the results from, that you know what to expect from, that you know better than anyone else, because you naturally will if you've actually done that work, then you should value that over whatever anyone else says. Of course, myself included within that formula. All right, sweet. Let's get into it right now. Starting off with Bitcoin, as always. I want to follow up on yesterday and the day prior and that target to $43,000, of which Bitcoin has obviously already hit, and the pullback that is starting to emerge from that, and what that sort of means for the next probably week to come. I probably wouldn't expect too much for today, although I might be eating my words a little bit later when U.S. market opens. But very, very likely early next week, once we get to like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I would be looking for, you know, direction on this market. Until then, obviously, a little bit of a short-term time frame range. We are back on the range lows at the 618 Fibonacci retracement right here, and also we do see, you know, just that last kind of structural low coming in around about low $40,000 territory, between about 40,500 on a closing basis to as deep as about 40,300 in this case. So I'm looking for a bounce of this region just based off that. Again, do not confuse bounce with a reversal here. This is all lower term time frame stuff, but very, very likely short term time frame stochastic momentum is going to be turning in that direction as well. Let's just go reference that and confirm. Actually, 3 hour is still nosediving, but will turn back up above about 42,350. So a bit of a pain point right there. Buy hourly is going to turn up above 40,450. So Bitcoin currently about almost $300 above that number. And hourly is also going to be turning up, I imagine, above about 40,250. So hourly and 2 hour both showing corrective signals based off of stochastic momentum and volatility. You can see that volatility is on the roof right now on both these timeframes, maybe even on the 3 hour, and 4 hour, perhaps. All of them kind of getting way up there. So I do expect that we are looking at a short-term corrective move here. Short-term corrective move within the context of our current, our current structure and trend. Very, very likely does mean a bounce to the upside. How high can bounces go without actually doing anything and just being considered another range play? Anywhere around 41,500 is fair game, although I do think that would be a bit of hoping to be looking for a bounce all the way up there. In the short-term timeframes, somewhere around the 0.5 would be the next sort of relevant region I'll be looking for, which is $40,900 to $41,000, anywhere around that pocket, which I'll just have a nice little blue box right there. If Bitcoin does retake that region, then I would be looking for an extension somewhere around that 41.5 to 41,250-ish region, very, very short-term time frame. So this is all, again, neither here nor there for the higher-term time frames. This is just relevant for, probably the next day or so, if you will. Until then, as long as Bitcoin's below 41,500, I do look at this as a range at best, with very likely Bitcoin coming back down and testing around the range lows in this case. The range lows being between about 39.5 to 39 even for the medium and shorter-term time frames. Anyways, I want to now talk about or follow up on I want to talk about this. I want to follow up on one of the big charts that we were looking at yesterday, which we are still awaiting resolution from. And this is the daily volatility chart of which we have seen these extreme lows on daily volatility many times in the past couple of years here. I've gone ahead and done it for the past year and a half now. And as you can see, anytime that we have come down to single digit percentiles, and especially, the lower, the bigger effect typically, the expansion phase from that has been on average about a 20% move. In some cases a little bit more, in some cases a little bit less. And that has been incredibly consistent. You've seen several of these in the past, well, even in the past couple of months here. The most recent one we did identify I think it was like a week ago, maybe? No, sorry, 2 weeks ago. This was early April, on that move down from about $48,000 to our current low side range was about $38,000 or 38.5 if you want to be exact. So, again, you've seen this plenty of times, you've been on this channel, but we're getting it once again right here. We have not seen the expansion from this come just yet. So I would not say that this has a confirmed signal as of right now, but because it is quite literally at 1.19 percentile, incredibly likely that we do see the expansion. Maybe today. I do think that that's a little bit less likely, to be honest with you. I think it's a lot more likely early next week, but that is something that that is an idea that I'm not married to. The idea that I'd be a lot more interested in to confirm is what direction does this volatility expansion come towards? Because if we do see it come from this current region right here, that puts Bitcoin, if it comes to the upside, somewhere around about $50,000. And if it does come to the downside, somewhere around about $33,000 to $34,000. Or sorry, it actually might be a little bit less than that. But regardless of that, we have seen in the past that daily stochastic momentum has been generally decent with getting the direction on it, but not great. So I don't know how much I trust it myself. If you just go off of the signals on the actual expansion phase. So when I say actual expansion phase, I mean that first tick up on the daily BBWP measuring volatility right there. Then the daily stochastic momentum oscillator, the direction from that has been right about 8 out of 10 times, 8 out of the last 10 times. So 80%, it has gone the right direction. That's pretty good results, to be fair, but that would also imply that you're probably going to miss, or if you are waiting for that, you're very likely going to miss the first leg of that move, which in a lot of these iterations is actually the biggest leg. Or, I mean, it is the biggest leg, yes. Typically doing about, almost half of the move, and then the next half of the move happening over the next, there's not really an average for this one. Some of them are like 2 weeks, some of them are like less than 1 week. So I wouldn't really say that there's like a general average, for example. But in this case right here, the reason why I'm calling this one out is because in order to get a downside resolution on daily stochastic momentum, Bitcoin would need to close below $39,000. The reason why that is very important right here, or very much relevant right now, is because that would be essentially the bottom side of the, of the overall range, meaning that not only would you have a range resolution to the downside, but you'd also have daily stochastic momentum turning to the downside. And I strongly imagine that at that point, we very likely would see the daily BBWP expansion phase. So it would be relevant to then be looking for, statistically speaking, based off of that signal, somewhere down around our weekly range lows, which weekly range lows, guess where those are? 34-ish, let's call it, 34,000-ish, if you will, as I stumble over my words, which would very much be in alignment with what we did see on the presumed target if this does expand to the downside. So again, $39,000, big area below there. Not only do we see that signal happen, but we do see, a range resolution, which would imply continuation and also in line with the current trend as well. So I think that all of those things are very, very important, obviously. And then that could potentially play into the higher term timeframes, of which we are still, yes, awaiting this goddamn signal over here, which can get much worse. But I don't think that we'll get into that right now. I don't think that is super relevant right now. What I should talk about, however, that perhaps could be a little bit more a little bit more on the BULA side, or a little bit more on the hopium side for the short term, is this. If we go over here and we go check out two things. One, Dixie. We did get the pullback that we were looking for yesterday to the 99.7 region. That was this tick right here. It's actually about spot 10 cents above where I was looking for, but close enough is close enough in this case. Anywhere around the yellow 21 was fine. I actually am still looking at this as putting in very, very likely a top right here, and very likely does come down. So if you do want a little bit of hopium, the hopium, at least in my opinion, is that you are seeing a pullback very likely emerge still from the same area. Of course, this is being based off of a weekly, and actually more importantly, a monthly. So these things do take time to play out. And I do suspect that if you are going to get a pullback from this region, while long-term this would imply, bullishness, actually like macro bullishness over the next few years, I would probably be looking for a pullback somewhere around 98.7, maybe even as far down as 97, basically 97 and in change right there. But until we get that, of course, that is a bit more of a hopium. So where do you essentially confirm a local high right here with targets to the downside? It's actually pretty damn simple. Just anywhere below yesterday's low would do it for me. And then, yes, I would be looking for that move to come somewhere around 98, 97-ish region, essentially, which likely does bode well for Bitcoin and general markets. So if I am wrong on that, the way that you'll know that I'm wrong about that, essentially an invalidation, would be essentially just closing on new highs right here would probably be good enough for me. Until then, I do still really, really like this area for a generalized pullback based off the monthly. I mean, this was like this was not just a multi-month long target. It was like a half-year target right here that we had coming in from October, September breakout. And so, these things are very, very likely going to take some time. So I suspect that this probably happens over the next couple months. But long term, like macro, if you want to get into that, I'm humongously bullish on this, and I wouldn't be surprised in the next like 4 or 5 years to see this one up somewhere around about $1.10 or so, just based off of the quarterly chart, of which we do have extremely low volatility conditions alongside hidden bullish evidence. So I think that I think that the reversal might indeed be real right here. Anyways, other than that, let's now go over the other sort of hopium-ish sort of thing right here, which would be SPY chart. So SPY obviously broke down alongside Bitcoin, or maybe that relationship is inverted. More importantly, and what do we see right here? We do see that SPY is coming back down to the same level that we had marked off. I think the last time we charted this one out was like late last week. So still working right here. The hopium is that you're very likely going to bounce off this region, yes, but the hopium is that then you'll pop back above about 44.50 and then complete, an actual higher low right here and actually have a major reversal on the daily. The doomium is that you close below the range lows, below about 43.50, and at that point, you really have to entertain the strong possibility and the strong likelihood that this is entering into a very much long-term bear market here, which, next targets to the downside would be somewhere around the last sort of weekly lows, which is about 4,200. Very likely a bounce there, but again, bounce not the same thing as reversal, at least until proven otherwise. Other than that, is there anything else that I want to get into right now? Yeah, I suppose that we should probably talk about this a little bit more on the medium and higher term time frame side for Bitcoin. We did initiate hidden bearish divergence right here on 12-hour RSI. It's not like a super concerning signal, but if you do get that next closure below, then, well, at least looking at moves back down towards range lows, and at that point, puts Bitcoin in kind of a precarious place because the daily momentum turns down below $39,000, which probably begets continuation towards 37s-ish, if you will. And also volatility starting to tick up over here as well. Other than that, is there anything else that I want to talk about? I guess we'll just briefly mention this. I'm not going to go over the full rigmarole on this, however, but on the 5-day volatility versus momentum chart, again, I do want to express my concern for price action that the probabilities of trading lower over time are, higher as long as this condition is met over here on the 5-day stochastic momentum. Why is that? Because the stochastic momentum has gotten the correct direction for that, 45-ish% or so move off of volatility expansion over here. All times in the last couple years at least, and we can of course go further back than that. But in this case, as long as Bitcoin's below that region, the risk does remain lower, to be fair. The earliest time that I'd even consider calling a major bear trap now is, well, I guess it's a little bit better now because the numbers lower would be $43,000. Essentially yesterday's rejection. Anywhere above there, yeah, Bitcoin looks good. In the short, at least for another rally up towards 45 to maybe even 48. At that point, I do start to look at Bitcoin as probably putting in a macro low right here. So I do want to represent both sides as neutrally as possible. Just understand that as long as that condition is not being met, I do have to, from a probabilistic standpoint, say that that general downside continuation is more likely. You'll know that first in the short-term timeframes that things are starting to flip around, the old flipperoonie. If Bitcoin starts to close 4-hour dildos back above about $42,000, that'd be the first sort of quote-unquote good thing. The big one, however, is now $43,000 on a daily closing basis. Maybe you could use a 12-hour as well, and at that point, this is going to start to look a lot more like a macro low here, but still probably looking at another month or so in this range, which is probably going to bore the shit out of everyone, as it should. Anyways, other than that, I want to wish you, or at least I hope that this analysis was in some way helpful. And there you go, sirs and zers. Nice one. I forgot to do the old, I forgot to hit some of my notes over here, but Instagram is a bunch of scammers. I keep on getting these messages. I get messages from my own scammers on Instagram. They message me saying, "Hey bro, have you heard of this? Have you heard of my secret trading group?" I'm like, Really? This is interesting. But yeah, I can assure you that, hey, if you're getting a message from any account that looks like mine on Instagram, it's extremely unlikely to be myself. And if you are looking for my actual Instagram account, it is in the link in the description below. Anything else other than that is not me and probably a scammer, or very, very likely a scammer, or yes, it's a fucking scammer. Ask them to send nudes, says Elsa. Also, Bybit, yep, do the old shill right there. Bybit's great if you want to get wrecked there. They have deposit bonuses for like $4,000 or something like that. Yeah, 4,000. Actually, $4,000. Actually, not bad. To be fair, I mean, you know, look, like if you're gonna trade someplace, they're the best place to trade on right now. But look, if also you're not a successful trader, not a good idea to just jump onto exchange. The exchange is not going to make you profitable. Making sure that you actually have your strategies set up properly, and more importantly, backtesting those strategies is what is going to allow you to be successful, which you can use their testnet to do that, which is something that I actually really do appreciate. And also, I'm told that they have options coming soon, like when soon, but good enough, man. Anyways, let me just reference the chats over here. I think, oh my God, there's actually quite a few. This is surprising. What the fuck? I was not expecting this for a Friday. What the hell? All right, Martin Hurt's first. He's looking at Monero on the 4-hour and daily and weekly. Okay, so Monero was one of the strong ones that we've been looking at for the past couple weeks here. Let's see if it still remains strong. And yes, it does. And it's actually hit our, holy shit, it's nearly hit our $300 target here. Yeah, Jesus Christ, or sorry, 295 target, but close enough is close enough. I would be looking for pullbacks within this region here, but overall, it's obviously a good fucking chart. I mean, Jesus Christ. Powerful Monero. Yeah, I think you probably got one more move to the upside and then very likely a pullback from there. We can do a recording on this one. I haven't done a one on Monero like I think ever. Here we have Monero versus the dollar, one of the old privacy coins from like way back when. It's actually very interesting to me because Monero was when I came into this market in 2016, 2017 region. This was like one of the first coins other than Bitcoin that was presented to me as being like legitimate, right? And it's interesting to see that this one's actually, you know, having a pretty damn good time, especially in the last few weeks here, of which we have not recorded any videos on it because I didn't think it was going to be that interesting, but we have nearly hit the 295 target. So while this rally has been very, very impressive and does bode well for the future, I would be looking for pullbacks somewhere within this region here. You know, might spike up to about 315-ish region and then close down. But ultimately, I would be looking for a pullback somewhere within this region right here, and then very likely that pullback leads into a higher low. Where would I be looking on for higher low watch in this case? Anywhere between 250 and 240 would be fair game. If this one is like extremely strong, then 260, but I don't think that that's what we're looking at right now. I would feel a lot more comfortable looking for a higher low, somewhere between about 250 and 240 in the coming weeks to follow, and then another try towards the upside. As far as the higher term timeframes go, like the weekly, again, in the short term, among the best charts in cryptocurrency land right now as it shows relative strength. Weekly RSI getting back in the bullish control zone for the first time since, freshly for the first time since July of 2020. And this is on very, sorry, I wouldn't say low volatility, but expanding volatility. So the move is in operation right now, which is good. And also weekly Jewel, I mean, obviously this one, like this, I mean, it's not really relevant for right now, but this signal was like born in middle of March. So more than a month ago now. But ultimately, I do expect that this one does trade higher, probably into the next coming months. If we look at the monthly, pretty damn good here. I wouldn't be surprised to see this one take a leg up towards 350, maybe even 420. Great number as well in the coming months, perhaps over the summer. But for right now, I think this one is very close to putting in a short-term local high. We have not seen extremes just yet on daily BBWP, so that's what makes me think that we have one more grind towards new highs on this rally, somewhere between, again, about 295 to 315. I understand that is a big range, but you know, have to kind of be leaning on some like this that has been showing relative strength. 4 hours suggest one more move to the upside in the short term. It's trending right now. It's pretty damn good. Only invalidation I'd have for that would be a move below about 270. As far as momentum also does go, I do want to see what it's looking like over here. Let's just see, I guess. 4 hour stochastic momentum turning down below 286. Okay, so a little bit of short-term downside pressure. 12 hour is still vertical above 266, but very, very intense over there. Daily, same thing, 269. 5 day is, wow, way the fuck up there, 261, and weekly's around 200, but way up there as well. So again, I think you got one more move to the upside, very likely a pullback after that, but I would be on higher low watch because this one's, you know, actually acting as one of the better ones. I would only invalidate long-term bullishness if this one does start to close higher timeframes below 240. Until then, short-term, very likely one more try to the upside. probably a pullback over the coming weeks, and I'll just be looking for those regions and come back to it after that. Hopefully that was helpful for Monero, sirs, and zers. I'm just reading the rest of Martin Hunt's comment. He says it's been about a year since I first tuned into the cave. It's been a hell of an education. Hey man, I'm happy to hear that, man. Again though, remember, if you're getting anything from this, like, I'm not a fucking professor over here. You're doing that on your own, which is good. Like, you can do it on your own, which is amazing. So awesome, man. Very, very happy to hear that. Curtis Ferguson says, "Hey, man, thank you for that. I do appreciate that, man. Sippy sip, coffee or water, Ethereum long term. Yeah, let's do Ethereum for sure. Ethereum's always a good one to kind of be looking at, because we do expect it to be." Just putting maybe I put my coffee in a special. Okay, give it to me, says Elsa. Here we go. Give it to me, I give it to you. Yeah, Ethereum's always interesting to be looking at, man. Okay, yeah, let's see what we got here. A rejection right at the fucking 382. Who would have thought? Let's actually move this back a little bit. That 382 level is going to be very, very important going onwards and forwards from here. However, all right, here we have Ethereum versus the dollar, and we have a daily range going on right now. The daily range, 31.25 at the 382 Fibonacci retracement right here to the upside, versus, our current lows at about 29.50 or so to the downside. As long as you are holding that range, just like Bitcoin above about $39,000. Sorry, this is no longer relevant right there, or at least not for right now, although it very easily could be. But we'll get to that when it becomes relevant. Just like Bitcoin on the range lows, I do have to be looking for a short-term bounce here first and foremost. Bounces can come up very easily anywhere to 30.40, maybe even 30.50 in the short term. But ultimately, this is just a range play in this case, and that is a bit of short-term hopium, to be fair. Now, with that in mind, I'm going to go over here to the higher-term timeframes, like the 5-day and the weekly. And I would say that this is not a strong formation right there, but until you actually do break below about 39, let's see, let me actually get this properly here, 39.50 on a daily, I would not be looking for that next major leg to the downside. However, if that does happen, I am looking somewhere between about 2650, as low as 2650 to as high as about 2800 or so. By the same token, Ethereum will complete its reversal on the daily here with actually a daily higher low, to be fair, as well. If it does trade and close back above about 31.25, that would imply targets back up towards the 618 here at about 32.50, 32.60. Very likely a short-term stop there, and then continuation very likely to your April highs, and probably beyond as well. Do I think that that's less likely right now? Yes, but at the end of the day, my opinion on that is not necessary for price action to evolve. Let's go check out momentum oscillators over here to see if that kind of adds on to the bias at all. If we go over to the daily stochastic momentum does remain to the upside, as long as I almost said Bitcoin, but Ethereum is above 29.25. 12-hour is going to be showing actually downside below 31.08, but that is actually not hugely problematic for right now, seeing as you're trading above there. 4-hour has actually had a full-on almost reset, will turn back up above 31.20, and then also notice, that's actually quite far away, but also notice that there is a bit of a regression trend line coming in from the last few lows. That would be your 12th of April lows versus your 18th of April lows, and potentially another one right here. So that was this low right here, and this low right here, and potentially this low right here. So that would be kind of the hopium right now. How would you validate the hopium? Bounce emerges over the next few days and brings you back above about 31.20. If you see that, that would be a good indication that this one is going to flip around and ultimately tag back around its $3,500 to $3,600 highs, and probably continuation from there in the following weeks. But until then, risk does remain lower, to be fair. And when I say risk remains lower, again, I want to reference this chart over here, probably back down to the weekly range lows, similar to Bitcoin, if that criteria is met. Until then, short-term bouncy, but beware of that. Beware of that region, or perhaps I could say that in a better way, but I don't have the vocabulary right now, unfortunately. Other than that, let's see. Is there any other obvious signals over here? Not so much on a 4-hour. What about a daily over here? Daily BBWP is on the floor, so this one is very likely looking for a move similar to Bitcoin, probably around that 20% region, evolving from this structure, and I would call, a pretty big downside move if you do actually break this to the, to the south side. Ultimately, potentially going as low as what you did see in January. That would be kind of your 20% move right there. To the upside, that probably puts you around your $38,000 to $4,000 highs. And again, that'll just look overall good for Ethereum. But right now, kind of at a critical position, and anytime that you are in range lows, well, Well, I'll leave it right there, and hopefully that was helpful, man. Anyways, hey, Chase Craft, it's been a long time, man. Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit, but I think there's a few, many people actually above you right now. Bob's and Vagine. Bob, and he has an avatar, or he has an avatar. Maybe that is you. Has an avatar of two. It looks like two cheerleaders. Bob's and Vagine. Rune on the hourly in 4 hours. Sure, man. Sure. Let's see. What do we have here? Short term, I think that the bounce continues. I mean, this is, it's actually a bit of a low side structure right here. So I'd actually be looking for this one to trade back up towards 9.35 to 9.5 on the short term. If you're on like a 4 hour and hourly, yeah, I think you got one more shot to the upside here. If you do see an hourly closure above 9.65, I would extend targets, somewhat significantly all the way back up north of $10. And to be fair, this one actually is operating quite well. So I think that kind of does bode well for Bitcoin and the rest of the market, because you'd expect that if other things are starting to show some signatures of a higher low being constructed, then generally the market kind of trades with each other. Then again, it's like, how much weight do I put on Rune itself? I don't know. Although Bitcoin and company, I'm looking for a bounce here, regardless on the short-term time frame. And the question is, well, does the bounce bring you above a critical region or not? But yeah, short term, yeah, I do think you're going to extend this a little bit more, somewhere around 9.5. You see any sort of a closure above 965, then I extend that target towards 10 plus short term timeframes. Paul Garrett says the BBW indicator is fire. Dude, it's amazing. It's fucking amazing. Credit to Caretaker on that one, man. He's the fucking man. You're looking at near proto-derp. Yeah, I mean, it's probably one of my most important indicators. I mean, it goes for me trend, volatility, momentum, and volatility is almost neck and neck with trend, but trend is a little bit more important for me. Anyways, near 15-minute and a daily. Quite an interesting spread of timeframes there. Okay, so last we looked at near, or the last few times we've been looking at near, been saying, hey, this one is good long term, but I do expect that it does pull back from here, and I still think the same thing actually. Somewhere around just below $14 is kind of where I'd be looking for on a higher low. If that area does fail, I look somewhere around about 1280 to 1275. Yeah, until then, I mean, if you really want to go to the short-term timeframes, I mean, do I have any opinion on this? I don't know. Yeah, I guess you got a little bit of hidden bearish divergence forming right here, so that would have short-term targets back down towards 15.5, 1540-ish region, somewhere around there. But if you're just more interested in the daily, long-term, I actually do like this chart. It's good, but I do expect that you pull back from here. Personally speaking, I do think that you're going to eventually pull back towards like just somewhere around mid 12 to like $13 or so. And that's where I'd be looking for on a higher low. I will be wrong on that, and I would validate a major move to the upside, basically to new all-time highs, if you do start to close dailies above 1770. I'm not saying that's impossible to happen. I think it's a little bit less likely before a pullback, however. So hopefully that was helpful, man. Ahmed says AVAX USD for and daily. Much love for this channel. Thanks, man, and much love to you as well, sir. AVAX. Okay, whoops, that's not how you spell that. Oh man. All right. Daily over here. Okay. Is this the last shot that I had on this one? Oh well. Let's see. By the way, just as an aside, actually, I was just checking my Twitter for a second. I sent a message. Do you know that guy on Twitter, Zach XBT? I actually sent him a message asking him if he wanted to come on like a podcast style sort of video, just because I think it'd be really interesting to kind of hear his, just hear his general thoughts and like how his process goes. And he seems like an interesting guy, and also, yeah, I think it'd just be. I just think it'd be a fun conversation, to be honest with you. Anyways, all right. Anyways, where was I? Okay, AVAX. Yes, apologies on that before I went on that unnecessary tangent. Where are we at on AVAX? This one again, I'm a little bit less sure. Do we get a higher low here, or does this one come down to 65-ish? Same thing as a lot of the other charts on the short-term time frame. So I do probably look for this one to trade a little bit higher towards 77.70 or so if you're on a 4 hour. So short-term continuation probably for one more short-term move. Other than that, I don't really have much of a call here, or a call at all, if you will. I'm going to have to kind of default to the sort of unhelpful analysis, but above range highs at 81.5, I do confirm this as actually a pretty big low going all the way up to your daily, which probably does imply targets back up towards shallow 90s, that being between about 92 to maybe even as much as 97, 98. Obviously above 98 is I don't have it marked off here anymore. Obviously above 98 is where I start to get like macro bullish in this, looking for prior all-time highs to get retested somewhere around 120-ish region in the following weeks. Until then, I do want to express that there is concern for downside from here, if especially if Bitcoin falls down as well below its relevant regions. In this case, any sort of a 4-hour closure, maybe even an hourly closure below about 73 and 3/4, and I would be looking for this one to fall down to your last weekly lows, which is somewhere around about 65 or so. Other than that, I don't think I have much of a helpful analysis on this one. I think at best the hopium is that you're going to be doing, sideways for a while, grind out this region right here, and then most importantly get back above about 98. That's where this one starts to, actually show some major upside yet again. I'm new. Please, Bitcoin go up soon. That's exactly right, man. If you make comments on the internet, then Bitcoin does exactly what you want, Okay. Oh, fucking bot. There he is. What's up, man? Ape the Grape. Is it topped out? I don't know. We haven't looked at it in a while. Sounds mildly racist as a coin name, but look, it's such a new chart, man. I never trust charts like this, to be honest with you. Shit. I mean, what time frame even makes sense on this one? Look, there's gonna be bounce along the way. I do think that you're probably getting ready for a bigger bounce here, somewhere back up towards 15.25. But is it topped out is the question. I'd never feel comfortable calling a top on some of that is this new, because so many weird things can happen. It depends on what time frame you're looking at. On a 4-hour, yeah, I think that you've topped out for the short term, definitely. I think that you will be going sideways within this range between, your highs somewhere right around here at about 15.80 and your lows somewhere around about $13. So, if you're asking about just kind of the short term, yes, very short term, I think that you're probably going to try a bigger bounce from here, but again, not towards new highs. If I'm going off like a 12-hour, maybe, is this going to be helpful? I mean, look, here's what I'm seeing on this one. I'm just seeing extremes on BBWP. The problem is that when you don't have higher term timeframes relevant for something that has, been around for only, a few weeks here, I would not feel comfortable calling that no. I do think that you're going to bounce back up. But until you start to close hourly doldles back above about 15.80, I would not call any sort of, new highs here. So probably not that helpful. I would feel very comfortable, however, saying that the highs are in for a very long time, and you're going to probably see at least your range lows towards $10, maybe below over time, would be if you do start to see 4-hour closures below about $13. Until then, I actually think that you got a chance here. This could very easily be another higher low, and you would naturally have a very small drive, but a relevant drive of hidden bullish evidence. Just again, too new to really be looking at, in my opinion. All right, let's scroll back up here. We have Tyler Reich next. He says Nexo on the daily. Sure, man. Nexo. What the fuck is this thing? This one keeps on popping up. Bits. What the? That is not helpful. Maybe FTX actually better over here. On the daily. Okay. I'd be looking for a short-term bounce here, maybe back up to 235, 236 region, but kind of similar to the last chart, very, very new. I don't call this one like a complete failure until you're closing below about 2.25. At that point, I'd be looking for this whole rally to be unraveled back down to like $2 or so. By the same token, I don't call a continuation towards prior highs and probably new all-time highs until you're back above 245 on a daily. Other than that, like the charts, if I had to call it, probably to the downside, but I don't feel confident on this one either, man. These things are too new. These things are too new, in my opinion. Like very short-term time frames, like an hourly, I don't even really have a strong opinion on this one, to be honest with you as well. If I had to say something, I'd say short-term continuation towards 235, though, to 236, and then I'd just be looking at ranges overall. These things that only have like a few, in this case, like a few months of history. Yeah, not great. Not great for long-term analysis. Truco Production says, hey, Krown, Luna got hit in bull on 5-day and 3-day. Is there a strategy creating targets for this, or should I backtest for percentage gain ideas? Should backtest. You should always value your own backtesting for relevant to your own strategies, because I could say how I would do it, but there's so many nuances into the way that positions are entered, into the way that things are, identified or confirmed as a local high or local low, for example. It's just hard to do. So I'd strongly encourage you to do your own work in that regard, because it's going, it's just going to be more relevant. Anyways, should we continue to work off this chart? Yeah, we should continue to work off this chart. Let me, oh, I do already have a fib here. Okay, good. Let's see, and let's see what the higher term timeframes look like right now, and let's also reference what you were saying. Yeah, the weekly can very easily put in a drive of I'm going to guess hidden bullish evidence here and a bullish engulfing, which would be great. 5-day already confirmed that bullish engulfing and hidden bullish evidence, but I do not trust this signature right here, to be honest with you. Okay. Okay, let's see. What about lower term timeframes? Still okay right here. I would not, yeah, if I'm looking at it from this angle right here, well, I guess I already have that in. Okay. We can still be using the 89.25 region as a bit of a range resolution, meaning that as long as you're above there, I do treat this area, I suspect, as another higher low. It would naturally have hidden bullish evidence on short-term timeframes with a target back up towards range highs at 97.5. If you do start to close above there, especially on a medium-term time frame, I would extend targets somewhere around 106 to 108 region, somewhere around there. If we go to the daily, or sorry, if we go to the 5-day and address your direct question, which was the 5-day closed with hidden bullish evidence, where do you target on that? I target the range highs in this case, which range highs you got pretty damn close towards, but that'd be in the shallow 100s, about 102 to 103 region. And I still feel like this one actually probably does come down over time. We kind of hit our upside targets based off of it, based off of the last range resolution to the upside. What do the other higher term timeframes look like? I guess the monthly's okay coming into the monthly closure. The weekly's also got hidden bullish evidence going on over here. I guess I'll just directly address your question then. Yeah, on hidden bullish evidence, I look for the next range highs to be tested. So in this case, that would be around your 10. What is this, like 102 to 105 region? You've already gotten up to about 99.5. I would call that next continuation move with any sort of a 4-hour closure above whatever this region was right here, about 97.5, let's say. Yeah. Other than that, I don't really have a strong opinion on this one right now. My strong opinion would be if you do break below about $89, then I would be looking for range lows to be tested again, that being somewhere around 78. Very likely a short-term bounce there with continuation implied down towards low 70s, upper 60s, something like that. Until then, until then, I don't really see an easy trade, to be honest with you. Okay, let's see. Where did I leave off? Yes, I'm scrolling down. Is it Fat Killer is your name? Holy shit, man. How are you not banned? Can you take a look at SRM daily time frame? Got it. SRM. Okay. And you're on a daily. Not long-term fucking ugly, but short-term, do I think that you're putting a little bit of a local low here? Yes. And I would be looking at any sort of a daily closure above 258 as confirming that with targets back up basically towards your prior highs of this rally in the coming weeks. That being somewhere in the $3 region. 5-day. I mean, I have to tell you that I don't think that that's very likely, but if that does happen, that would be my target. Until then, I do think it's honestly more likely for this one to come back down to 190. I would confirm that move with any sort of a daily closure below 2.25. Maybe even continuation from there. If we go down to a 4-hour time frame, yeah, short term probably gives one more try to the upside. So if it does retake those regions, especially on a daily, I'd say that you got a nice daily reversal in progress, and very likely targets back up into the shallow 3s, maybe even up to $3.50, and then I'd come back to it after that. Yeah, it's okay right there. Especially if Bitcoin gets a nice little bounce going on, that would probably bode well for something like this in the short term. Let's see. Fucking by the dip says smash the likes. Thanks, mate. Hey, all good, brother. All good. Zen Bull Trading says, can you please do Rose? They have a token unlocked tomorrow of 10%, so good time for VC to cash out. All right. So there's something like fundamental going on right now. In these situations, I don't think that technical analysis has as good of efficacy just in general. But this one has a very obvious structure going on right here. Extremely fucking bearish below 20 cents. Until you actually do confirm below 20 cents, in this case, I'd use no less than a daily. Sorry, you could even use like 21 cents on a daily. I guess, some hopium does exist. Let's see if there's any sort of divergences here. Yeah, there is some bullish divergence building right now on the daily, but it won't be confirmed until you confirm this is a local low. And how would you do that? Earliest you could do that would be back above about 24 cents, and that would very likely imply targets back up north of a quarter. If we get onto a 4 hour. Short term, I think you can send the short term rally at least to like 22.5, maybe even 23. Other than that, you know, the hopium is that you're on the range lows and this is the low, and you know, until you break below 21 cents on a daily closure, I guess that's okay. And of course, you know, long term would be mega bullish above 30 cents, but yeah, watch out for 21-cent region. If you do lose that region, this one's going to come, or very, very likely to come down very hard towards 16-ish. And this would look a lot like a top here, to be honest with you. Drive of bearish divergence right there as well. It's a phantom drive, so I don't know how much I trust it, but yeah. Anywhere below 21 cents, though, man, I'd be very quick to switch on to mega bearish on this one. Cool. Okay. Go from up down. Reshab says, hello, sir. Hope all is well. It could have been better if I got more sleep, but it's all good, man. Could you check out silver, higher term time frame, weekly and monthly? Yes, XAG. I remember last we looked at this, I was bullish on it. Let's see, or long term, I should say I was bullish on it. Would I still be bullish on it long term? Yeah, I would. You're on a weekly and a monthly. I have to be bullish on this thing, especially as long as you're above 22.5 on a monthly. Weekly, same thing as well. But actually, no, sorry. The weekly, I will switch around to looking for a move back down to 22.5 if you do see a weekly closure below 24 and 13 cents. Until then, I think that the hopium still is a little bit stronger here. See what a daily looks like. Yeah, daily, you'd really want to see this one bounce here, though. Basically, any lower than last week's low, or sorry, not last week's low, but early April, which is 24 and about 13 cents. Hold on, I can fix that really, really quickly. Let's do this, boom and boom. Yes, I fixed it. Nice. I do respect the upside here, especially as long as you're above 24 and 14 cents. Below there, though, I do look for range lows to once again get retested at 22.5. Personally speaking, I do think that this one does pull on through. Higher term timeframes like quarterly are also showing more upside. You know, again, I'll reiterate my stance from prior is that I do think that this one trades up to like 29, 30 bucks, probably around end of Q3, early Q4, something like that. I don't really have a good reason to be bearish on this thing until you're below at minimum 24 and 13 on a weekly closing basis. And then macro would be bearish below about 22.5. Okay, cool. Stefan Milicevic says, hey, Krown, happy Friday. Happy Friday to you as well, man. Is Netflix dead? Is it... Last I looked at it, it wasn't looking too hot, man. Wondering where a reversal bottom would be. I do think you're probably going to have a short-term bounce here, but I mean, can very easily bounce up to like 230, 240. What was that noise? You know, look, you're starting to hit extremes here on daily BBWP and weekly BBWP, but I do think that barring a short-term rally up to like maybe as much as 245, I do think that this one has one more leg down before it puts in like a low, if you will. Now, of course, a low is not the same thing as reversal because this thing is like literally freshly reversed to the downside on the macro timeframes. That's fucking ugly, man. I do expect that this thing actually does over the following months, probably around end of year, hit around 160-ish region. That's a hell of a chart, and this is what the real chart looks like as well. I mean, it's like literally a parabolic blow off top. Typically, these things do go for like a 70 to 80% retracement. Thus far, we've seen 70, so that's probably good for a bounce. 80% actually puts you at 140. So maybe I'm being too bullish on this, but I think that you got one more leg to the downside. I'd be looking at daily BBWP to max out here for at least a few days and then get below the moving average. At that point, I'd call a bounce, but not before then. Until then, it's only short-term, short-term bounces with which very likely lead towards one more leg of continuation, then perhaps a big weekly bounce. But I don't think you're there just yet. Sean Waller says, hey, mate, can you look at VIX on the 4-hour and daily? Sure. Do you want like the actual VIX itself? Sure. Okay, and you're looking at a 4-hour and a daily. Daily, I'm looking for this one to pop up here. I'm looking for this one to pop up here, probably back up to 2680 to 29. Maybe into early next week. 4-hour, Let's see. Yeah, I was gonna say there's a little bit of hopium for this one coming back down. If there's going to be hidden bearish evidence, but there's not. Yeah, I'd confirm a big breakout here towards like 29.30. If you do even see a full hourly closure above about $25. Until then, the hopium is that you come back down and lose below about 21.65 on even a 4-hour closure as well, and I'd call continuation to the downside to prior lows. But I don't think that that's what's happening here. I think that this one's getting ready for a move to the upside. Hell of a chart though. And the reason why I'm saying is that the hopium is to the downside is because typically volatility moving, contracting does imply upside price action. Typically, not always, but typically. Let me take a sip of this. Okay, we have Mr. Venegas. Good morning, Mr. Venegas. Ocean on the short term, 1 and 4 hour. Okay. Ocean, yeah, this one hasn't popped up in months. Okay, might as well give it the boo log goggles by putting on the logarithmic scale. Weekly here actually still is working on a bullish engulfing, man. So not all that bad. I'd actually be very, very bullish on this thing below, not below, but above 65 cents. The reason why is I'd confirm this as a higher low and also a macro low, and probably have targets back up towards $1 plus. Daily looks good, pulling through. I actually look for this one to trade up to 65 cents. Yeah, actually not bad, man. Full hour continuation right here. Actually looking like it's about to get a fresh breakout with a 4-hour closure above not 65, but 56.5. Very short term, like hourly extension towards 59, and then 4-hour probably pulls through into the daily, and I'd be looking at this this prior high to be tested. This is actually kind of boding well for the general market. Perhaps Bitcoin actually is putting in the higher low right here. Very possible, but I wouldn't call it just yet. Again, I still think we're looking at range for a bit. Adam Kalane says, I went to US. Oh, you went to Santa Cruz. Nice, man. Probably a great place to go to college too. Bananas. Yeah, it's banana slugs to be. Okay, my bad. It's not just slugs. It's banana slugs. Gotcha. Big yellow ones. Yeah, Elsa loves those. Just send her all your slug pictures. Maybe not. Follow up on coin. Still think it will bounce up to 159, 160. Let's check it out. Coin. Let's see, how high did it get yesterday? Jesus Christ, man, this thing can't buy a bounce. No, I'm wrong on that. I'm just straight up wrong on that, man. I'm just straight up wrong on that. No, this one's continuation. Wow, fucking ugly, man. Yeah, I definitely got that one wrong from Wednesday. Jesus, I remember this one too. I think you're gonna be grinding out these lows, maybe making some slightly lower lows first. Before your next bounce, but I guess the hopium is that, or the consolation prize is that at some point you're very, 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 very likely to make some significant drives of bullish evidence on the daily. Problem is you don't have anything resembling a local low just yet, so I suspect that you got one more move to the downside, and then probably bounce. But again, hard to look for a reversal on something that's only ever really gone down. So yeah, not great, man. Let's see. Stony23 says KNC on the hourly and daily. Okay, KNC. Let's see. Daily. Good. Actually, kind of similar to Monero here. Hourly. Okay. I'm looking for a bounce here, probably back up to 467, 468 region. I only call a top here with targets back down towards 340 if you do get a daily below about $4. Until then. Oh, this one's actually pretty much at all-time highs. I do think that you're getting ready for like a general long-term pullback relatively soon, and probably pulls back down towards $3 to 280 or so. But still short-term, like very, very short-term timeframes. I think you got one more short-term bounce here. I would not blindly say that bounce is going to make new highs. I would only call new highs if you do see an hourly closure above 483. And even then, it's like, and I mean new highs on the rally, not new all-time highs. Again, you're very, very close to your 2018 highs. This would be a great pullback region. So I think at best you got a little bit more continuation in a perfect world, maybe as much as like $5.5 to $6. But again, that's contingent upon the hourly. And then I'd very, very likely be looking for a pullback from there. What I feel the most confident saying is that whether it's here or a little bit higher, very likely to pull back down towards the $3 region in the coming weeks. Infinite IQ's nice name. MTL USD. Can we actually close the chats for right now? Maybe we can leave them open for like a second longer, but starting to get hungry, man. 4 hour and daily. Okay, daily. Already topping out on BBWP, so looking for a bit of sideways and probably test a little bit further to the downside, like 230 or so. Short term, 4 hour. I think you try a little bit more of a bounce from here, somewhere around about 275 to 280, but yeah, I do expect that you probably trade sideways here a little bit, maybe one more slight move to the downside, but you know, it's all higher lows as long as you're above $2. So I do look at this one as, you know, quote unquote, okay or good as long as above $2. Below $2, very likely looking at 1.25, which is kind of a big move for this thing. To be fair, you do have bearish divergence here. You do have very, very high BBWP. So if I had to shoot you straight, I do think that at best it's like short term, one more short term try up. But I do think that gets rejected and you correct a little bit further first into a higher low, and then maybe try again. But see what this one looks like long term. Yeah, it's okay long term. It's okay long term. So I guess I won't say anything other than that. Is this like one of them crypto payment processors though? I'm curious to hear if it is, because I remember that one from like way back when. I think pin my message, I pin your message. Oh god, it's the fucking bag fund again. Adam Klein says, Elsa will like the latest trilogy. Yeah, probably. I mean, it's visually pleasing, I think. Hard to compare the originals after watching the more modern ones. Yeah, definitely. Kava, 6 hour and daily. May the force be with you as well, sir. Kava. USD. Okay, you're looking at a 6 hour. I actually really like the 6 hour time frame. So it's interesting that no one ever really brings it up, but this one's actually quite interesting right here. I'm looking up, man. I'm looking up. I think this one actually probably retests yesterday's high over the next few days and probably makes a new high on this rally somewhere around about 550. Good. I have nothing bad about this to say, especially as long as you're above 430. So that'd be my validation with targets back down towards, 360 and maybe beyond. But yeah, pretty decent here. 4 hour, 6 hour. Just stair step this way up. Out and validate short-term rallies below about 440. Until then, yeah, daily's okay. I'm looking for this one to probably trade back up towards those highs, and let's see what the long term looks like, just out of curiosity. Yeah, it's okay here. It looks like it's put in a base, so I'd give it the benefit of the doubt. Again, we've seen a lot of things like this today, so perhaps that does bode well for the general market. And again, I do expect that Dixie will come down here in the coming 2 weeks. So yeah, cool. Broken Society says, hey man, all good. I'm happy to do that, man. Cause it also helps me as well. Like obviously not just for the, for the finances involved with like super chats, which is nice, of course, but explaining these sorts of things, it deepens my own understanding. So yeah, man, I'm happy to do it. Would you look at T-Loss? Sure. TLOS. Okay. I don't think I'm familiar with this one or no, we've seen this one before, but, do I have a chart for it? No. Yeah, I don't know what time frame you're going off of, but definitely not one of the stronger charts that we've seen today. I can definitely say that. I mean, honestly, this thing looks like it wants to make a nice leg down towards 54 to 55 cents in the coming weeks, but I don't know what time frame you're on right now. So, short-term time frames, you might get a little bit of a bounce here, maybe to like 69 cents, but it's fucking ugly, man. There's no hopium for me on this one, especially as long as you're on a daily below about 85 cents. Above 85 cents, hey, okay, you got a nice low right here. I don't think that that's what's happening, but that's essentially what would kind of invalidate my own thoughts for right now. Until then, I think you're going a little bit sideways and a little bit down, and it's gonna be rallies along the way, but I expect that most rallies get arrested below like 70-ish cents or so. Yeah, kind of. Again, if you just want to make it easy, bullish above about 85, 86 cents. Don't think it's happening. Till then, all rallies are just lower highs. All right. Zen Bull Trading says rose on the 4 hour, please. I think we got that one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we did get that one. All right, cool. Crypto DGen says, hey Krown, do you think you can take a look at Sato for us? I can. It would be more helpful with the time frame though. Attached to it. This thing? What the fuck is this? God damn it, dude. It's another one of these goddamn dog coins. I mean, not great here, man. you know, short term, could you see a rally up to like 3.6, 3.7 maybe? But I do suspect that you're very, very likely to unravel this last March rally somewhere back down to like 2.8, 2.9 region. Yeah, not great. Not great, man. No, I don't. No. Yeah, I think you're generally coming back down somewhere around 3 cent or a little bit below 3 cent. Short term, you know, it doesn't even really look like it wants to bounce short term, but if it does, 3.6 to 3.8 is what I'd be looking for. Nothing resembling a reversal here, especially as long as you're below 420. Until then, all rallies are just lower highs and unimpressive. It's fucking another dog coin going straight to the gutter. I'm surprised. To be fair though, it has held its higher lows for a year, so should see some nice bounces somewhere around its last March lows. To be fair.
Hey, sir.
What?
Well, trading said you meant Luna, but I think you did Luna.
Yeah, we got Luna as well, man. I also did I record it? I can record one for Luna, I guess. Let's see what it looks like over here as well. Because I didn't actually record one for Luna, which might be a good idea. Let's see, where are we on the daily? Daily remains up as long as above 76. I don't really think it's worth recording right now. You got a range going on. 97.5 to the upside is good for another move towards 105 to 110 region. 88 or $89 to the downside. And look for your mid 70s get retested, maybe a little bit lower, somewhere down around this box right here. If you want to go to the full analysis, I think scroll back like 20 or so minutes, and if you don't want to wait for that, then Elsa will do the timestamps later today. Let's see. Crypto Med says, hey, all good, man. Gala or near? Okay, so I think we already did near. So yeah, we can do Gala. Yeah, we can do Gala. Yeah, I did everything above that. So 4-hour daily. Not one of the strong ones in the short term. Nor on the daily as well. The Hopium here, kind of similar to Rose. Actually, very similar to Rose in a lot of ways. They're kind of on like weekly areas, right? So the Hopium is that you're going to hold your 17 or 16 cent lows and then flip back around. But look, this one actually certainly not as Hopium inducing as maybe Rose, because what do you have right here? You got a slew of lower highs. So you do have a bearish redistribution pattern going on right now. I would even say that you basically have resolution below about 1780, and that probably has targets back down to your November lows basically. I suspect that the real question why you ask about something like this is, you want to know when this one actually like flips, does the old flipperoonie, right? The flip. There's nothing really bullish about this long term, as long as you're below about 27.5 cent. It's your last lower high right here. And that does mean that you can, you might base off here, probably puts in another rally, but lower highs all the way through. As long as you're below that region, it's just another lower high. And any sort of a validation on a daily below about 1780, and I look for this one to really catalyze some nasty downside movements. Until then, probably bounces off this region again. I don't think it's going to like break down from here. Even if it is going to break down, I don't think it happens from here. Actually, I do think you're going to grind this area out, probably building some bullish divergences here. Slight drives, yes, but yeah, not great. I think this is another like meta derp token as well. I think that there's stronger ones, respectively speaking. Oh, okay. All right. It's not a dog coin. Fair enough. All right. Well, I'll take your word for it, ma'am. Benjamin Covarubius says, from Luna ecosystem, do you think you could take a look at local? I'm not. No, if it's not on TradingView, man, I'm not going to look at it because I don't have my tools, but I can see if it's on TradingView maybe. No, it's not on TradingView. Look, I'm not going to a site that I'm not aware of. It's coinhall.org. I draw the line at CoinGecko. Once you start doing more coin bullshit after that, I don't trust it, man. I'm sorry. But I assume it's probably going to be tethered to whatever Luna does. Zen Bull Trading says Luna 4 hour. Yep, we got that. There's a lot of interest in Luna. Should we just go do a video on Luna? We can do a video on Luna. Why not, man? Why not? Okay. All right, let's get rid of this for right now. That's already played out. Here we have Terra Luna symbol LUNA versus the dollar, and the daily has come back into our range. Range being between about 89 to the downside versus about 97.5 to the upside. That does imply a range resolution to the upside, very likely retests around 105 to maybe even as much as 110 in the following week or two. And to the downside, I would be looking for your weekly lows in this case, or sorry, maybe last week's low at around mid 70s get retested in the following weeks. Probably does dip a little bit lower than that over time, actually towards the upper 60s, somewhere around the 382 right here would be fair game. Anywhere between the 0.5 and 382, which is like actually 72 and a quarter to 67. If that condition is met. Until then, do we have anything that's obvious going on right now for the lower term timeframes? Not really, actually, within the context of this range. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything super obvious over here. Let's go over to the daily. Daily stochastic momentum is showing upside above $76, so that is going to imply, well, good, I guess. 5-day will flip back onto the upside if you do close above 108. So a little bit less, or I wouldn't say a little bit less likely. It is quite unlikely right now, but that would actually be mega bullish long term towards new all-time highs, I imagine. Until then, what do the bifurcation within these signals look kind of imply? Very likely sideways for a little bit of time. Buy daily stays up as long as above 82.40. So it's not really giving me too much right now of a major buys. 4-hour and 6-hour both downside angled as long as you're below about $97, $98, which currently below. So I do expect that this one, ranges here at best for a little bit of time. Maybe has one more slight upside move towards 95.5 on the hourly, but I think at best you're kind of going sideways here. And I would call a decent downside move below about $89. And again, a big upside move above about 97, 98 bucks. Here's the thing though, if I did want to give you some more hopium on this one, would be the 5-day, of which the 5-day did close as a bullish engulfing a couple days ago, and then also closed with hidden bullish divergence here as well. I don't think that this is actually a very powerful signal, to be honest with you. To me, this actually looks like a bit of distribution at the top. And in the coming couple of months, probably does trade to the downside. But I'll be wrong on that again if you do see, especially that higher term time frame closure above the range highs right now. If you see that, I'm going to be definitely wrong on that. Very, very likely sees, towards its prior all-time highs and maybe even beyond. But if I had to call this one right now, I think that you're probably going to range a little bit, maybe some short-term rallies, and then upon confirmation of a even a 4-hour closure below about 88, 89 bucks, I would be looking for that move to kind of happen over the next couple months here. So hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for Luna. Cool. Chasecraft, there he is. XRP 1 and 5-day. Oh dear Lord. XRP, huh? There is no XRP army anymore though. I think they left. Not good. I think this one's probably coming back down to 60 cents or so in the coming few weeks here. If you're on a 5-day, if you're on a daily, I'll be wrong on that, and I'd actually be looking for targets up towards 87, 88 cents. Your last few highs here in the past couple months. If you do see a daily closure above about 78, that's kind of where things flip around for myself. Other than that, you're about to get a silver cross to the downside on the weekly. Like barring a heroic rally in the next 2 weeks here, I would say that it's a lot more likely to see somewhere around 60 cents, maybe even a little bit lower than that, towards 55. 4-hour time frame is just a downtrend, just ugly. I think your short-term rally already got kind of rejected right there, but yeah, other than that, I really don't have a strong opinion on this one, man. Other than the higher term time frames, which I do expect that they probably trade down here. What about the 3? I'm just curious what the 3-day looks like, because that one just closed last night. Yeah, not strong. Yeah, as long as you're below 80 cents, risk does remain lower, and probably over the next few weeks, 60 cents or so, as long as 80 cents is not retaken, if you will. Nixon says VRSC. Okay, this is a completely new one from me. I'm guessing it's not on TradingView, because unless if you're talking about Valterra Resource Corporation, which is actually going to be the right ticker anyways. And if I do put in UST, yeah, it's not on TradingView. Maybe if I try this trick. Nope. Yeah, it's not on TradingView, man. Unfortunately, I can't look at it. I apologize, but we are limited by that. Jay Header says AMP 4-hour and daily. Okay. AMP. All right. What does AMP? Not good. Gemini is the one that we need to go to, though. Maybe it's not that bad. Nope, it's still that bad. It's still pretty bad. 4-hour and daily. Daily, here's the hopium. You're building up many drives of bullish divergence. But I wouldn't look at them. I wouldn't look at this one as even remotely putting in a reversal until you're at minimum close and daily dildos back above not $2, but 2.6 2.6 is the number that I'm looking at. At that point, I would be looking for a nice rally towards 3.3, maybe even 3.5. Personally speaking, I think that this one is getting ready to come down a little bit more towards 1.8, 1.9 region. Maybe lower than that over time. I mean, this just looks like one massive rounded top. So there's going to be rallies along the way, obviously. If we go down to a 4 hour, kind of weird here on a 4 hour, actually. You did obviously already played out this bullish. It's really fucking awkward looking chart, man. I actually would call a local low above 2.5 cent. Now that I look at it on the short-term time frames, is that, yeah, 2.5 cent above there on a daily. And I would actually be looking for a nice bounce first before anything else, somewhere around 3 cents plus, and then come back to it after that. But until then, I'm looking at this one as likely to retest lows, probably make new lows. What does the monthly look like? Again, not great long-term, but that can take a very long time to play out, obviously. I suspect that you probably do make a move towards 1.8 before it's all said and done. And I look at like any major potential long-term lows. Mr. Venegas, he's back. LSS. Okay, is this stock or... Hold on. God damn it. Nope. It's lossless. Lossless coin. 4 hour and daily. Daily actually not bad. Not bad. You even have another drive of potential hidden bullish divergence building up here upon daily confirmation of another local low. That'll be confirmed with a daily closure above 70, or sorry, not, I keep on getting them backwards. Dyslexia is a hell of a drug. 67.5 cent. At that point, I would look for another rally up towards new highs on this current move, somewhere around 83, maybe as much as 95 in the following week or two. Other than that, not really much to be looking at here on the higher term timeframes. I would call a failure below, is this yesterday's low or this morning? Yeah, yesterday's low at 57 cents. Any sort of a 4 hour closure below there, and I look for this one to come back down towards 50 or so. Yeah, other than that, don't really have a humongous opinion on this one. Long term would be very, very good, above about 76 and a half on a daily, and I look for this one to probably trade up towards $1, if that were to happen. A little bit of hopium there, but this would be, if you are bearish on this one, this is exactly where you're looking for on a lower high, just saying. Okay, all right. Greg Page says PYR 4 hour. Okay, PYR. What dis? Oh yeah, this is Vulcan Forge. Yeah, this thing. No, this is not the right chart. KuCoin is the right chart. Now I remember. So what is just curious. I know you're looking at a 4 hour daily, but long term, it's just one macro range here, right? But macro range, after testing the range high, it's probably going to come down and test the range lows. Daily, I think you're probably coming back down towards 11.5. See what the 4 hour looks like. 4 hour, not really giving me too much right here, to be fair. Yeah, not really giving me too much here. But if I did have called, I do think that you come back down to like 11.5 to 11.25 region. I would only call an upside continuation with 4 hour closure at minimum above about 13.55. At that point, yeah, I'd be looking for your April highs to get retested somewhere around 16, 17 bucks. And long term, anywhere above 17 bucks, this, reaccumulation complete. By the same token, below 8.30. Very, 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 very bearish, but I do suspect that you're probably doing something like this long term, where it's going to go sideways, maybe test the downside again, test the upside, and then maybe sometime around end of summer, then maybe get a move to the upside if it is going to end up being bullish. Obviously, opposite if it's going to move to the downside, but not necessarily strong on its own, not neither strong nor weak, just kind of par for the course here. Mr. Venegas, he's back again. PNR, what the fuck is this? What? PNR, this one's not on TradingView. Unless you're talking about the stock. Oh, it's a stock. Oh, it is a stock. Okay, good. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate you, one, bringing up a stock, and two, specifying that it's a stock as well. That's very helpful. Cool. Daily and weekly. Weekly, I think that you're setting up for a bounce from this region. The question is, do you test down towards 50 bucks again or not? I don't have a strong opinion on that, but my strong opinion is on you do see a nice bounce from this region somewhere around, I'm gonna guess somewhere around 60 bucks or so. If things get really crazy, maybe 65, but yeah, I think you're generally getting ready for a weekly bounce here. The question is, do you retest this region again? I suspect that you do based off the daily. Daily just put in another local high, another drive of hidden bearish divergence. So yeah, probably gets another wick down somewhere around 50 bucks or so, and then sets up for a bounce, in like a month or so. Simon Cardi says, fuck backtesting, Santa rally, ? Also, Bitcoin 5 day stochastic you were referencing earlier this year was trending down and not gone red yet, sim question. Wait, what? Yeah, I mean, we covered this earlier in the stream. If you're talking about this, no, we haven't seen expansion just yet. So, the hopium here is that as long as Bitcoin, sees this move to the downside and kind of has like a reset, if you will, without seeing major volatility expansion over here, that's resetting into a bullish signal. It's a fucking far stretch, but it's a far stretch. It would imply that we probably have a long time to wait, to be fair, which possible, but basically it says best case scenario Bitcoin sideways for a while. What do you laugh? What the fuck are you laughing at? What are you laughing at? What?
African crypto warlord says, does your mom like being called a whale?
Oh my god. My fucking man. You gotta love African crypto warlord. You gotta fucking love him. He's the best. Craig Dis says, Elsa, kindly ask your man to hit the mute button when he swallows his drink. What? No. Oh, you already said no. Okay, well, fair enough. Yeah, man, I apologize that if my drinking offends you, but I am thirsty, so I will continue to do that. Cool. I think that's it for the day, actually. Nice and short and sweet. It was very interesting today to see a lot of the altcoins that actually were looking okay. Bitcoin almost got up to that 4090 number, but again, still here. Any sort of a break below our current lows, and I do look for this one as a lot more likely to test down to 39. Again, 39 is not like a full-on breakdown. Below 39 is, though. Below 39 is, and we probably see that next volatility expansion come down. Bouncy areas, 37.5 if that happens, and then 34 to 35 to the upside. The hopium is that we trade a little bit sideways here, maybe even come to the downside. That'd be okay. Sets in a higher low there, respectively towards a $39,000 low, and then plop back up towards 41.5. If something like that happens, that would be that would obviously be the hopium, but probably going to take some time if it is going to happen. So, other than that, I don't really have anything more to say. Anyways, I do want to wish everyone well. Thank you for joining in. I want to say a special thank you to our moderation crew for keeping everyone safe in Safu, and of course, African Crypto Warlord, just the fucking man. And Philson, what's up, man? Philson, good to see you, brother. Yeah, I'll be signing off now. Take care, and see you soon.
Write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. Pump it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, fix or pitch it, copy, paste it, nudge it, test it, build it, try it, bend it, fork it, hype it, pump it, dump it, rinse, repeat, but quick relocate, false it,